In the Pro 14 last night, I managed to watch the game between Munster and the Southern Kings on Free Sports here in the UK. It was a rout. The first half was actually quite close. It was the second half where the Southern Kings completely fall apart. Now, some of these players aren't really household names for me. I don't watch as much Pro 14 as I would like. But occasionally, yeah, I can watch and catch the odd Pro 14 game. Munster are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Northern Hemisphere at club level. That's my personal opinion on Munster. They're regularly doing well in Europe. They're regularly at the top of the Pro 14. They rarely have an off season. They only got 2 tries in the first half with the wind in their favour. That is interesting. The wind's blowing from behind them at Independence Park down in Cork, Irish Independence Park. The rain is howling down. It's a gale. It's really testing conditions. Thankfully, in Cork, they play on an AstroTurf, so footing wasn't as bad as it could have been had it been on an actual full turf surface. But Cronin and Conway get the 2 tries. Scannell gets one of the 2 conversions. I'm not surprised in those conditions. It's the second half where it all goes wrong for the Southern Kings. The Southern Kings started the first half really well. The wind was in their face, so they're running a lot of the ball, and I like to see teams run the ball more than kick. I really do. It's sort of probably for my love of rugby league as well. I like seeing ball in hand more than ball going up in the air. It's just a personal thing. Other rugby fans like the kicking game. I'm more of the running game for me. I like a bit of flair. And the Southern Kings and actually do have a very exciting young talented backline. They really do. They like throwing the ball around. They like playing that kind of rugby. Was it the conditions for that? Probably not. But their handling skills were pretty decent in that first 10-15 minutes, and it started to go wrong after that. By the end of the first half, Lerm is off with a yellow card in 36 minutes. And this was going to be a pattern that would repeat itself in the second half with 2 further yellow cards on 69 and 70 minutes from Kruger and Nsila. And the Nsila yellow card could have been a red because that was a nasty tackle. He drilled the guy into the ground. That was a proper tip tackle, rightly an illegal tackle. And I felt the referee had a very, very good game, but that could have been a red card, that third one. But notice, running into the wind, so they don't have that kicking advantage anymore, Munster tore them to pieces. It was a shambles in the second half by the Southern Kings defensively. The scrum completely fell apart. And when I say completely fell apart, it was scrum penalty after scrum penalty, and then it was just they were being driven backwards 5 metres. Sweetenham, Holland, Marshall, Klein and Scannell gets a try, as well as a further 3 conversions in the second half. He missed a few kicks, but in those conditions, I'm not blaming him. The wind was constantly changing direction. The rain started. It was a horrible night to play rugby, and very cold as well. The thing is, it was 12-0 at half-time. 31 points were scored in the second half by Munster. This is a Munster side missing a lot of its Irish internationals and other players due to injury and international duty as well. So they're not at full strength. This is not quite a second string, but it's sort of the squad stepping up. And some of the young players really stepped up and said, you've got to select me for the next game. Come on, coach. And they really put in a dominating performance. That second half, running into the wind, they destroyed the Southern Kings. They ripped them to pieces. And the last 15 minutes was just a disaster for the Southern Kings. And when the 2 yellow cards happened on 69 and 70 minutes, they kind of stopped playing and they just became cynical. And this is an issue, not just with the Southern Kings, but a lot of South African teams in the past. But 3 yellow cards in a game, you're not going to win. The fact they had a try disallowed for a knock-on in the second half, would it have made a difference? No, not really. It was an absolutely appalling performance by the Southern Kings. I've seen very few teams play that badly. I really have. That second half, they just became cynical. It was penalty after penalty after penalty. And to Munster's credit, they kept going to the corner. They didn't kick for points. They could have just kept chipping away. They kept going for the corner. They dominated in the forwards. The backs ended up getting dominance. And you can just look at the tries. Now, not all these players, for me, are household names. I'm not completely clued up on the Pro League. I will admit, I haven't watched enough of it to form a judgment, but I've seen a couple of Southern Kings games this season, and they've lost every game that I've watched of theirs this season, and yellow cards and discipline are an issue. I don't know how long the Southern Kings can keep doing this if they want to make the playoffs and proceed into the finals, but Jesus Christ, 3 yellow cards and 2 in a minute. That is shocking discipline on any level. I hadn't seen that at school level when I was playing. I sure as hell have not seen that at club level. 2 yellow cards in a minute. That is really, really shocking. And the fact that they shipped 31 points For a fully professional former Super Rugby franchise to ship 31 points in the second half, something's gone seriously wrong there. Their discipline and their motivation is all over the place. This team really needs to look at themselves long and hard and go, is that acceptable? And I would say no. The Cheetahs have fared, I think, better. I think the Southern Kings are, I think, possibly the weakest of all the South African professional sides in Super Rugby or the Pro League. I think they really are. If you were to have a 5-team little conference playoff cup thing in the summer, the Southern Kings would get hammered. From what I've seen, Munster showing their depth and their credentials to be the best team in the Northern Hemisphere. They were solid. When the opposition were losing focus, some teams can sometimes, when they have that man advantage, not necessarily take advantage. They took advantage. They destroyed the Southern Kings in the second half, running into the wind. And I was watching this with a friend who's not really a rugby fan, and he was actually, I'll watch this with you. I was discussing why those yellow cards took place, why those players were sent off. And I was discussing why that was a good play, bad play. And it was kind of a good game to describe to a non-rugby fan how rugby is good and how not to play. It was quite a good example, and I would suggest to any young kids who may have missed the game or want to learn the game and improve, find this if you can on YouTube or on the internet. If your dad's got it on record. Honestly, any young kids out there, you want to watch how Munster played, especially in testing conditions against an ill-disciplined team. They kept their focus, and that's a sign of a good tide as well. Thank you very much for watching. It was a very, very good performance for Munster, a shocking performance from the Southern Kings for about 70 minutes of the game. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your thoughts below if you watched the game and have any thoughts on it. I would like to hear from you. I'll have some more videos for you soon.